I have never done this before.
I think it's just
No, there's definitely a pop. Oh! It farted. Wow! I wanted it to be more festive than that, but... Hello. Do you want to share, or is this all for me? Ha! We did it. We did it. You did it. I did it. We did it. My goal at the beginning of this year was to reach 1,000 subscribers by my birthday on Halloween. And we have met that goal, my dear viewers. In just 6 months from that first fateful Bridgerton upload, we have reached a place of community I had once only dreamed of. And I couldn't be more grateful for you. Today, I'd like to celebrate you by answering your questions about me. But first, some announcements. One more sweet. First of all, no, you did not click on the wrong video. It is me. I just straightened my hair. I'd like to start off these celebrations by welcoming all you new viewers and thanking the ones that have stuck with me through the months. And as a thank you, I'll be hosting another giveaway. That's right. The lucky winner will have their choice of any book on their Amazon wishlist for the amount of $30. This could be a Kindle, audiobook, or hard copy, whichever your heart's desire, my little bookworms. All you have to do is subscribe to this channel and leave a comment down below. That's it. On this video. Not just anyone, just comment on this one. As with the last giveaway, the winner will be selected completely at random, so as the great Effie Trinket would say, that's mahogany! I mean, may the odds be ever in your favor. Remember those short stories I keep mentioning, but I'm never quite finished with? Well, I've decided I'm always gonna want to change things. If I wait until I think a story of mine is perfect, no one will ever read it. So, my first of many coming stories is up on Amazon right now for you to read. It's called Sweat and Honey. Weird and sticky title, I know, but you'll get it once you read it. This doesn't make my heart do palpitinos in my chest at all. I'm perfectly calm. Sweat and Honey is unlike anything I've ever written before. A fleeting love story inspired by the freedom one may feel on a rocking train, watching as the people and landscapes swoosh by. The story was actually first conceptualized in October of 2019 for a film competition. I had written a little narrative that was adapted into a script. It was such a fun little shoot day / night, filled with complicated and intricate shots and special effects and friends.
Ethan!
Throw it.
Is audio ready?
It's 11:31.
Oh, do this one first.
Do you know where your children are?
You know, back when being around people was allowed, I miss it only a little bit. Not much. And I even got to make out with my good friend Emmy in front of our friends. And my now husband. So. Anywho, this story, available now, is a bit different from the initial story since that one was limited to one location on one day. Nevertheless, the characters in this story, as short as it may be, are an extension of myself, and it is quite a frightening and intimate experience to have strangers read such a thing that was written with intent, so I do truly hope you enjoy. I've mentioned a number of times how writing is a form of therapy, so please click the link below and read Sweat and Honey, and perhaps you'll have a better idea of why I need therapy. And before anyone asks if the short film is available for public viewing in its entirety, no. Since the story has evolved way past what we had initially filmed, we've discussed refilming it in its whole form when that sort of thing seems plausible, so stay tuned either way. But probably no. For now.
Quiet on set!
Okay, quiet on the set.
You guys.
I'm
This
impressed.
is a simple shot.
I'm so
just
sad.
of
If you do end up liking the story, and again, I really hope you do, and want sneak peeks and early access to my other upcoming stories, and just the stories in general, really, please consider becoming one of our patrons on Patreon. That's right. The inevitable threshold of any booktuber once the possibilities of a community mirages itself on the horizon. I've put a lot of thought into what I would offer on the Neverland Book Club Patreon, and if you have any suggestions, as always, my ears and my mind are always open. With a basic 3-tier menu, we first have the Thimble tier. You know, Thimble, as in, may I give you a thimble? I love being on brand. With this tier, you'll get exclusive access to live reading sprints, writing updates and sneak peeks, perhaps a quote here and there of an upcoming story. You'll also be able to see illustrations I create for my stories. As with the cover of Sweat and Honey and the watercolor that's a big part of the story, these are personal paintings I have created for the story itself, so you'll get to see those before anyone else. You'll also have a say in what's next on our TBR, and therefore what videos and reviews we'll be posting next. Pictures and sneak peeks of what's coming up and behind the scenes of different projects. The second tier, the second star, you know, as in to the right, straight on till morning. This tier includes a Discord channel where the community has a place to hang out and chat, as well as a group buddy read. You know, like a real-life book club. What? All reading the same book and sharing our opinions and thoughts together in an actual community. My dreams. With this tier, you also get exclusive access to the actual short stories. That's right, where I do plan on selling my short stories on Amazon individually, this tier hands them to you for free. A community is more important to me, so the more readers, the better. This tier also includes live events for these books in particular, in-video shoutouts, and includes everything listed in the first tier as well. Plus a sticker. And finally, the third tier. The darling tier. This one was designed more with writers in mind. After coming across such a gem with Gathering Shadows from my bestie from the north, I really believe in investing in indie or unknown authors. And so, with this tier, you as a writer will have the chance to be interviewed and your book reviewed on this channel. This tier also includes early access to any upcoming merch, which we've already been hard at work designing, so yeah. This of course also includes everything listed in the previous 2 tiers as well, so I think that's a pretty good deal. And as with life, the future brings change. So again, if any of you have any suggestions on what features could be a part of a certain tier, I am always ears. I'm always ears. All ears. Always ears. I am always ears. Everything gained from this Patreon will help in creating more content and a welcoming community for you, dear viewers and writers. So I thank you in advance for your contributions. Or, as I have been waiting to say for a very long time, thank you for your patronage. Alright, last but not least on this long list of announcements, a P.O. Box. Now, I am aware that the year is now 2021 and P.O. Box videos are not as popular as they once were, but I really love mail. And the concept of time passing without control of intervention gives me anxiety, so I set one up anyway. The address is here on the screen and in the description below, so please feel free to send me anything you like that isn't perishable or alive. Or dead. Please. Alright, let's get on with the questions, shall we? I'd like to start with the #1 question I receive in the comments of my videos here on this channel. Is this my real voice? And I don't know how else to say this. Yes! This is my real voice. I am not being dubbed, I'm speaking English, there is no voice actor behind the scenes saying my lines while I very skillfully lip sync for their every word. To their every word. I can't even speak. For those of you that don't understand what I'm doing here, what this channel is for, I welcome you anyway. All are welcome. But perhaps instead of insisting I speak in a way that makes you comfortable, try perhaps exaggerating the things about yourself you like the most. It's a real fun time. I promise. Anyway, now that shade is out of the way. Next question. What is your favorite memory? Well, that is a very tough question since I am a woman and therefore remember everything. But if I had to choose, and I know this is cheesy, but waking up the day after my wedding in a beautiful villa in Palm Springs with my new husband and a world of adventures ahead of me. The sun casting a beautiful glow on the Spanish tiles, the reflection of the water outside creating a trembling cascade of light on the ceiling, the feeling of absolute bliss without a care or thought in the world. If I go on, I will cry, so... Next question! Where is your favorite place to get creative? That's easy. In the bedroom. No, get your mind out of the gutter, you'll get an infection. We've invested a lot of time, money, and effort into making our bed as comfortable as it can possibly be. And when I say that's my favorite place, I truly mean that's my favorite place. Most of these scripts have been written in bed. Sweat and Honey was written in bed. But we all know where the real magic happens. Under my bed. Next, we have a very interesting question that might be better answered by my husband, Pablo. What would a world populated by clones of you be like? Pablo?
Wow.
Loud. It would be very loud.
Cute.
Oh. Loud and cute. There you have it. Do you prefer buying books online from a bookshop or borrowing from a library? This is a bit of a tough one. I normally purchase books online because I lack the ability to love being outside of my own home and relish in the serotonin that comes from the notifications on my phone that read, "Your package has arrived." There's a certain release that comes from the delayed gratification that is only really delayed in minimal increments. However, bookshops are rare and produce encounters you'll never get shopping at home. Seeing the books on the shelves, picking one up that has caught your eye, feeling the weight, the smell, you know how I feel about drugs. Libraries are also an underrated and undervalued venue. However, I have a hoarder's mentality of owning my books, so I normally don't borrow from libraries. And although the idea of renting a book first and then purchasing it to support the author once I know I've enjoyed it is a very logical idea, I still prefer to have the freedom to tab the pages and spend as much time with the book as possible. So, to answer this question, not in short, my preference in convenience is online, but my preference in experience is bookshops. Next question, hardback or paperback? This one is quite common and quite easy. Paperback, 100%. They're easier to carry, easier to handle while reading, they're more comfortable and more forgiving and much less pretentious. That is, unless it's a special edition. Then, be flashy if you want, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. What will make you DNF a book? What books have you DNF'd? Okay, so I am normally against this, but I would like to actually dedicate an entire video towards the concept of DNFing books. One book I have DNF'd is 11/22/63 by Stephen King, just to give you a little sneak peek. There aren't many, but that was one of them. What's the first book you remember reading? Storytime. This one I really had to think about how to answer, because as you can see here, I am a very animated person, which never really dimmed even as a child. I have memories of not being able to read, of sounding out words on a page and trying to decipher their meaning when strung along in a sentence. The first book I read was One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish by Dr. Seuss. Now, I was only about, I don't know, whatever age it is that you learn how to read, when I read this book. And I say read because I was a child with an acute memory and the psychotic ability to just lie. Very naturally. You see, I simply memorized which words to say in order as my mother read the book to me. And so, as the performer that I am, I picked up the book, pointed to the words, and began to recite what I had memorized. At first, my mother was perplexed. I had just graduated from ABCs. There's no possible way I could be reading. I graduated at 1. My mother turned to different pages in the book, out of order, and that is where my little scheme was found out. You see, no matter what page she turned to, I would just start at the beginning. Still impressed, but a little disappointed. My mother then made me watch a Sesame Street video about why lying is bad, and I developed an intense fear of puppets. That is 100% true. Please do not send me a puppet. I will yeet it into the LA River. What's more important, good writing or good story? Allow me to answer this question by rephrasing it. Would you prefer a story that is written well or one that has a well-executed plot? And to that, I'd say, grammar is one of the most joyous things in life. It's like watching a film with either bad audio or bad visuals. With visuals, your brain can fill in the gaps and a grainy image can be ignored once you get used to it. But poor audio can make it unbearable. And so I think if written well, language can be appreciated where plot may be lacking. And this is one of those, you have to choose, but, it's best with both. And lastly, what does it take for you to accept an author's book review request? And to that, my answer is, oh, darling. Was that a good wink? Did I wink or did I blink? Or just DM me on Instagram. I will look at it, I will see it, and I will answer. Just send me your work. As much as I'd like to answer more questions, I don't want this to run on for too long. But be sure to follow the Neverland Book Club on Instagram to answer any polls or submit your questions for future videos. Really? I didn't know that! Is it because I hit 1,000? You get perks? What else is there? Oh, subscribe. Alright, that's all I have for you today. Be sure to like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you're not already. According to my analytics, a little under half of my viewers are not subscribed. So if you like what you see, please consider joining our little legion. Today's shout out goes to Erubel Vasquez. This is why I do this. To make someone smile, to make someone laugh, to brighten their day. It is all worth it. And yes, Pablo's laughter brightens my day as well. I remember the first time I heard his epic laugh. And I also remember all the heads that whipped in our direction. Love may be blind, but it is also deaf. Is that too mean? I love you. Alright, I am off to go daydream about my honeymoon from the comfortable and creative space of my comfy bed. Stay lost, keep reading. Thank you for your patronage. Goodbye!